Hold up, man, get him a wheelchair, man. What we doing? What y'all doing, guys?
He was supposed to have 3 surgeries. He made it through 2.
Honest truth, we all thought that the way he was carrying himself, that he would have been fine.
So I'm guessing if he would just laid there, he probably would have survived.
King Von was supposed to live? Yeah, you heard that right. New video footage, shocking details, and whispers from inside the hospital are painting a picture we never saw before. Apparently, King Von survived surgery. Survived. But then, in a moment of unbelievable chaos, he reportedly jumped out of his hospital bed hunting for his gun, and that's just the beginning of this crazy story.
I definitely feel like it's foul play. I don't know where it's coming from, but I definitely feel like it's some weird shit going on.
And one of the things you had said was he had survived 2 surgeries, like he was expected to live at first.
For years, we thought we knew the story of King Von's death. Street beef, nightclub brawl, tragedy, but new information is exploding online, and it turns out what happened behind closed doors after Von was shot is even wilder than we imagined. According to new reports, after making it through 2 surgeries, Von was expected to survive, but then something triggered an insane reaction. They say he saw someone at the hospital, the man who had just shot him reportedly in the same damn hospital, and that's when everything went sideways. Von, still recovering from surgery, reportedly jumped out of bed looking for his gun, ready to finish the fight. What happened next? It's so unbelievable, you almost need to see the CCTV footage to believe it. And tragically, this hospital chaos, this desperate act, might be the real reason the O-Block legend passed away.
His sister, Kayla, she told me, she said that he had 3 surgeries, but he made it. He was supposed to have 3 surgeries, he made it through 2. He hopped off the bed after the 2nd surgery and supposedly started fighting the nurse and asked the nurse where's his gun at, something like that. And then he died because he went into shock.
But hold up, because this incredible hospital scene is just the tip of a very dark iceberg. Von's own cousin is now stepping forward claiming foul play in King Von's death, and what he's uncovering, it's mind-blowing. He's pointing fingers, raising questions, and dropping names. Von's manager, his own sister Kayla B, even Lil Durk and 21 Savage are being dragged into this tangled web. The connections are wild, the inconsistencies are glaring, and once you hear him out, you'll be left with more questions than answers.
She was out there that night, wasn't she?
What, you mean at the club?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was at the club. She told me she had left and went home. And I guess when she got home, that's when she supposedly had called me.
So she didn't go to the hospital?
No.
That's like her blood brother, like.
Now, shortly after that, 21 Savage, he bought you a Range Rover?
Yeah.
And was that random? You knew that was coming, or?
No, I didn't know it was coming. Like, I've been knowing Savage them for a long time, maybe since I moved to Atlanta. Like I told you, I was dating his brother. So it's just like, I already had relationships with them. Like, I've been locked in with them and stuff like that.
Von's cousin Bo has been digging into this for years, moving from podcast to podcast, keeping Von's name alive, but now he says he has new information, shocking details about Von's last moments. He claims even though Von was shot, he made it through 2 successful surgeries. He was expected to live. Then, according to Bo, Von's sister Kayla B called him, relaying what she'd heard. She said after those 2 surgeries, Von got out of bed, started fighting the nurses, demanding his gun, and that's when he went into shock and died. Think about that. After surviving the initial trauma, it's this chaotic hospital scene that might have sealed his fate.
And the night it happened, me and Durk at the bowling alley, because we was out in Houston and shit, so we at the bowling alley. I got the call probably 2 minutes after it happened, no exaggeration.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim.
Now, obviously, Bo's story raises some serious doubts. How would Kayla B know all this? She wasn't even at the hospital that night. Fans online are already picking apart the details. How she know he had 3 surgeries and woke up on the hospital bed if she ain't even go to the hospital, one fan questioned. And it's true, Kayla B's own story has been inconsistent. She first said she wasn't at the hospital, then in another interview claimed she was there but went home. People are starting to look at her sideways. Remember, Von was in Atlanta for his album release party. Only his entourage was with him. Kayla B was at the club, yes, but according to Bo, she went home afterwards. She didn't go to the hospital even after hearing her own brother had been shot. She was out there that night, wasn't she? At the club? Bo asked in the interview. Yeah, she was at the club. She told me she had left and went home. And I guess when she got home, that's when she's supposed to have called me, so she didn't go to the hospital? No. These small details, these inconsistencies are fueling the conspiracy theories, the whispers that Vaughn was set up from the very beginning. You can tell Bo knows a lot more but can't really speak about it, but it definitely was a setup, one fan commented. And then the really wild comment, Kayla B got a Range Rover for her part in the killing of Van. Wait, what? A Range Rover? This is where it gets even stranger. Shortly after Vaughn's death, 21 Savage, out of the blue, reportedly bought Kayla B a Range Rover. Kayla B herself confirmed it, saying it was unexpected, but she'd been locked in with 21 Savage for a long time, dating his little brother. Shortly after that, 21 Savage, he bought you a Range Rover? Bo asked Kayla B in an interview. According to Kayla B, the gift was unexpected. However, she was already locked in with 21 because she had been dating his little brother. Was that random? You knew that was coming? No, I didn't know it was coming. Like, I've been on Savage for a long time, maybe since I moved to Atlanta, because like I told you, I was dating his little brother. So it's just like I had already had relationships with them, like I've been locked in with them and stuff like that. Was it really just a random act of kindness, or is there something darker behind this gift? And then, 21 Savage dropped another bombshell. He revealed that on the night Vaughn was shot and killed, he was chilling with Lil Durk in Houston. He even claimed he got the call just 2 minutes after it happened. The night it happened, me and Durk at the bowling alley, cause we was all in Houston, and so we at the bowling alley, I got the call probably 2 minutes after it happened, no exaggeration. 2 minutes? That's suspiciously precise, but here's the thing everyone online immediately pointed out. Lil Durk was live on Instagram vibing to music when he found out Vaughn had been shot. Why would 21 Savage say they were bowling? Is he lying? And if so, why? So you telling me he ran out the bowling alley and turned up in the car, then seen Vaughn got shot and ended the live? One fan questioned. Not true. Durk was not in a bowling alley. Durk was actually on live in a car, and he was told on live that Vaughn got shot. 21 Savage, you need to stop lying, another fan slammed. Smells like BS to me. Everybody seen Lil Durk on live when he heard. If there's a conspiracy around Vaughn's death, is 21 Savage somehow caught up in it?
Cause if I'm with you, we do something, you don't report it, but you know I did it, and you don't report it, we go on about our life. You are as liable as to the case as I am. What I'm finna go down for, you finna go down for, unless when you get in this behind these doors, you tell me something that I don't know. And then probably a little bit more.
Lil Durk told on King Von. That's how he beat his charges. Lil Durk told on King Von. That's how he got his charges beat.
King Von situation. It's dumb. All over. It looked like it was over girls to me.
Oh yeah, I mean they say the King Von situation was over Jania, who was NBA YoungBoy's baby mother.
Yeah.
But they weren't even together at the time.
Young boy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
You talking crazy on this one.
Oh yeah?
He ain't even like that. On his nah.
On his that.
Cap. You got cap in your rap.
21 Savage's lie, if it is a lie, throws a spotlight right back on Lil Durk. Because Durk has been linked to Vaughn's death from the very beginning, and not in a good way, remember. At the time of Vaughn's death, both he and Durk were facing attempted murder charges after a shooting in Atlanta. But here's the twist. In late October 2022, just weeks after Vaughn died, all charges against Durk were dropped. The prosecution admitted they didn't have enough evidence against Durk. According to Durk's lawyers, Durk was present at the crime scene, but never involved in the shooting itself. But Vaughn was dead, and many people believe Durk might have used that to his advantage. The rumor? Durk may have told on Vaughn to get his own charges dropped, because there was a stack of evidence against Durk. A female witness at the scene said a fight broke out in a car in front of them. She saw Durk pull out a firearm, ran for her life, and then heard shots. Moments later, she saw the victim in a pool of blood, and it gets worse, for Durk detectives reportedly obtained surveillance footage showing Durk's hand sticking out of an SUV, firing a weapon at the victim. You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim, the report stated. Despite all this evidence, DA Fannie Willis made a statement that sent shockwaves through the industry. She revealed that if co-defendant Davon Bennett, aka King Von, had not died in 2020, he would have been indicted for this incident. Think about that. According to the DA, even with all the evidence seemingly pointing at Durk, if Vaughn was still alive, Vaughn would have been charged and Durk would have walked free. The theory exploded. Durk snitched on Vaughn, passed all the blame onto his dead friend who couldn't defend himself, and walked away a free man. Former members of Vaughn's own gang, O Block, reportedly felt the same way. They believe if Durk was present when Vaughn committed the crime and didn't report it, Durk would have faced the same consequences even if he didn't pull the trigger himself. For Durk to have all charges dropped, they believe he must have given the authorities something, some information. Because if I'm with you, we do something, you don't report it, but you know I did it, and you don't report it, and we go on about our lives, you are as more liable as to the case as I am. What I'm going to go down for, you going to go down for, unless when you get in this behind these doors, you tell me something that I don't know, and then probably a little bit more. But the setup theories go back even further, before Vaughn's death in Atlanta. One incident that keeps resurfacing is when Lil Durk's lawyer, Nicole Mormon, allegedly posed as airport security and searched Vaughn at an airport. Vaughn caught it on camera. It turns out Nicole Mormon worked with the state for years as a felony probation officer and undercover agent. She could go undercover. The theory? The plan was already in motion to frame Vaughn, to portray him as the dangerous one between him and Durk, so Durk could walk free and Vaughn would end up in prison. Even Lil Durk's biggest hater, Charleston White, believes Durk snitched on King Von to beat that murder charge. Lil Durk told on King Von that's how he beat his charges. Lil Durk told on King Von that's how he got his charges beat.
Seemingly was like, let me try and get this rap beef thing for clout to supercharge my career. He ended up getting Youngboy's baby mama Jania at some sort of studio session. There was talk that they were going to make a song together. There was rumors that they slept together. And, you know, then Youngboy ends up getting Asian Doll over his house to do a song. There's rumors that they slept together. And it really, you know, it seemed like Von started dragging baby mamas into this and just escalated this thing to a level where it was out of control.
Because I've been working. We have a song coming out. Y'all wasn't supposed to know, but it is what it is now. We have a song coming out. So when the song come out, just know it's hardest. You feel me? I'ma do it. I'ma be a rap star. Fighting for the streets. I'm just trying to get my money to take care of my son. Period.
And even Durk's actions on the night of Von's death are being scrutinized. That Instagram live video where he was vibing to music when the news broke, some people think that was just a carefully crafted alibi. Durk was Von main op, no coincidences. Back in Blood Drop the same day Van died, Durk was on live. It's an alibi for Van, one comment read. This looks like more of setting up his alibi, another agreed. While another commenter had a more cynical take. That man ain't give a damn, he got a phone and the internet just like all the censored typing saying Van just got shot. He knew, probably was relieved because Vaughn was about to take it all down with that wild censored he was on. The evidence, or at least the theories, are wild, and Kayla B, Vaughn's own sister, is at the center of it all. How do you explain that Range Rover gift shortly after her brother's death from a guy who claimed to be hanging out with the man suspected of setting it up? Did Kayla B set him up that night? Did she lie about being at the hospital? Is it all a giant coincidence, or are these fans onto something? When Bo was asked directly if he thought Vaughn was set up, his response is telling. So do you feel like Van was set up? Because I seen you say something about, the interviewer asked. Yeah, I mean, I always say like that because it don't make sense to me, because certain censored don't be making sense to me, and I just like to a lot of fans, it don't be making sense to them either. But even to me, I don't know why, it just seemed like on my heart, some don't seem genuine, like at all. Bo's reasons for suspecting a setup are even more chilling. Vaughn not being in his bulletproof truck that night. Vaughn being alone with no security in that parking lot. It clearly feels like there's more than meets the eye. And to get to the bottom of it, we have to go back to where it all started, the deadly beef with NBA Youngboy. The official narrative is that it was all over girls Jania, NBA Youngboy's baby mama, but was it really just about a girl? The King Von situation was over Jania, who was NBA Youngboy's baby mother, one report states. Yeah, but they weren't even together at the time, Bo clarifies. The story might be much deeper than just a love triangle. It reportedly started with Von dissing NBA Youngboy on Instagram Live, calling him a liar in his lyrics. Youngboy turned out on this song, bro, what are you talking crazy? Oh yeah, he ain't even white though, huh? On his cap, you got cap in your rap. Youngboy, already a much bigger artist, initially ignored him, but something about Von calling out Youngboy seemed intentional, like he was trying to start a rap beef. So he escalated, involving Youngboy's baby mama, Jania. Junior Von seemingly was like, let me try and get this rap beef thing for clout to supercharge my career. He ended up getting Youngboy's baby mama Junior at some sort of studio session. There was talk that they were going to make a song together. There was rumors that they slept together. And, you know, then Youngboy ends up getting Asian Doll over his house to do a song. There's rumors that they slept together. And it really, seemed like Van started dragging baby mamas into this and just escalated this thing to a level where it was out of control.
I'm saying though, they got 63rd, some dirty ass.
Hey, little boy, Lil Tim tell me, little boy, I'm not about to let you go in no club. He be like, no, little boy, I'm not about to let you sit in no car and go to sleep.
Right, by yourself.
You feel me? I'm about to sit in and roll up.
Avon even fueled the rumors himself, tweeting, "Wouldn't believe the female I just made a hit with." Photos of him and Jania surfaced online, sparking rumors they were sleeping together. Jania denied it, saying they were just making music, trying to make money for her son. "I've been working, we have a song coming out. Y'all wasn't supposed to know, but censored it. It is what it is now. We have a song coming out, so when the song come out, just know it's hard as you feel me. I'ma do it, I'ma be a party for the streets. I'm just trying to get my money to take care of my son, period." But then, Von's girlfriend at the time, Asian Doll, poured gasoline on the fire, confirming the rumors. She claimed she'd seen DMs between Von and Jania that something was going on, and that the making music excuse was a lie. "In them DMs, I seen it, so all that song, that dead young boy," hearing these rumors, took it as disrespect. Fed up with Von's antics, he clapped back, posting a photo on Instagram with the caption, "I'm going to make sure my son your daughter since you trolling bitch." Since Von does have a daughter, the message was clear, and Youngboy was already getting back at Von by hooking up with his ex, Asian Doll. YB even texted his producer using Asian Doll's account. All this dissing, all this escalating beef was only going to lead to one thing, a physical altercation, and soon Von would get into it with one of Youngboy's closest affiliates, Quando Rondo. What's crazy is that Von and Quando were once cool, even on video clowning Von's Chicago ops together. I'm saying though, they got 63 dirty ass, but the battle lines had been drawn, and it didn't take long for them to go to war. On August 5th, 2020, Quando Rondo took his homie Lil Tim to the club. Lil Tim had just gotten out of jail after being arrested on serious drug and weapons charges. He just want to, you feel me? You feel me? He just got out of prison, he just want to have fun. However, Quando Rondo, who was with him, didn't want to party, he just wanted to nap outside in the car. Interestingly, Lil Tim decided to stay with Quando in the car, which might have made all the difference that night. He like, "Little boy, let them tell me, little boy, I'm not about to let you go in no club." He be like, "No, little boy, I'm not about to let you sit in no car and go to sleep right by yourself, you feel me? I'm about to sit in and roll up at the same time." King Von had just left Opium nightclub after his album release party and headed to the Monaco Hookah Lounge where Quando and Lil Tim were. As Von was about to get out of his vehicle, one of his homeboys alerted him saying he'd just seen Quando Rondo in the parking lot. Von was out of the car in a split second, heading straight for Quando's direction. Quando was also on his way to the club. Von attacked him, a few crew members backing him up, knocking Quando to the ground. Von's guys joined in, raining blows on Quando as he tried to escape. In a split second, Lil Tim appeared from behind their vehicle, gun in hand, and started firing. Everyone scattered. Von was hit in the torso. Two off-duty cops near the club started shooting back, hitting Lil Tim. After the dust settled, Von's guys pulled up, loaded him into their vehicle, and sped to the nearest hospital. Lil Tim, limping, got into their vehicle with Quando Rondo, and they also drove to the hospital. Fatefully, both groups ended up at the same hospital. Luckily, no more violence erupted there. Sadly, King Von passed away during surgery, but this is where things get truly interesting, because just like Von's cousin Bo, you start to see that the official narrative isn't as watertight as everyone would have you believe. First, Quando Rondo and Lil Tim were spotted at Opium nightclub while Von was launching his album. Von's own DJ saw them there. Dune them was at the party. Now, whose party was this? Album release party? It was Von's album release party. Okay, but Dune them was at the party. Yes, they was at the party. Weird, right? What were they doing there? And then the bulletproof truck. Von's bulletproof truck was reportedly switched out that day and he was riding in a regular vehicle. They SW. They switched the truck out from a bulletproof truck to a regular truck. He's a hot artist. Why would y'all do that the night of all this? Bo questioned. Just ain't making sense, but yeah, it was definitely switched out. Somebody close said that censored. According to Bo, whoever wanted Von dead planned it so that even if he didn't get out to fight, his car would be shot up. Basically, if he didn't get out that car and fight, like whoever wanted him to fight, whoever, if he ain't got that car and fight, they would have. They would have shot him while he was driving because they switched the truck out. His main driver was reportedly switched out that night too. But years ago, right after Von died, his manager, Track 100, insisted Von was traveling in a bulletproof truck. Von travel in a bulletproof truck. So going out the club, he jumped into the bulletproof truck and it was him and maybe two or three more individuals. Remember, he was in a bulletproof truck, so wasn't no concern. Was Von really in a bulletproof truck or was it switched out that day? We may never know. And even though Track 100 claimed Von was in a bulletproof truck, he also admitted something was strange that night. Yo, this man is like, I promise you, the best artist I ever moved in my life as far as knowing how to conduct himself properly, but for some reason that night, it was off. But what everyone seems to ignore is this. There's no way Von would have picked Monaco Hookah Lounge and chosen to stay in the parking lot unless he knew Quando was going to be there. And remember, one of his boys came up to him while he was still in the car and informed him that Quando was at the parking lot. Now, right before we go inside the club, one of his homeboys came to the driver's side and they said, "Hey, we seen so-and-so." And Von just jumped up like, "Oh, come on, let's go." One fan put it perfectly. Van knew Quando would be there. He was told he was gonna be there and somebody told him to go there because he would be there. That's why his guy told him after peeping the scene he was there. Here's the kicker. Track 100 never revealed who informed Von that Quando was at the parking lot, and when Von's cousin Bo was asked who this individual was, he was also visibly hesitant to answer. "So who do you know who was responsible for waking him up and telling him?" Bo was asked. No, not 1,000%, so I ain't even saying no, not 100%, so I ain't saying no names. It's been 4 years and that individual is still unknown. Did Von send him to look out for Quando? Was he lured there? But one thing is clear, everyone expected Von to survive. Even while his crew was panicking in the car on the way to the hospital, Von was reportedly calm, telling them he would be okay. Was he conscious then? And was there any way how maybe he could have survived this? Bo was asked. The gentleman that was in the car with him was panicking, and Von was the one that was like, "Hey, calm down, slow down, chill, I'm gonna be good, just get me to the hospital." Tragically, he didn't make it. And that's when all hell broke loose, as his affiliates became obsessed with sliding for Von getting revenge. According to court documents, Durk started plotting for Quando's death immediately after Von was killed. Rumors began circulating that Durk had placed a bounty on Rondo's head, fueling fear in the industry. Turns out it was true. Court documents allege Durk used coded language to tell OTF members he'd pay a bounty to anyone who took part in killing Quando Rondo. Durk's cousin, DeAndre Wilson, also reportedly told OTF members that anyone involved would be rewarded with lucrative music opportunities with OTF. The first attempt on Quando's life was in 2021 in Georgia. Quando was scheduled to perform at a club, and after the show, someone started shooting at him and his team at a convenience store. One of Rondo's entourage was injured. By August 2022, things escalated. Federal court records allege Lil Durk's associates learned Quando Rondo was staying at a hotel in LA. On August 18, 2022, Durk's associates traveled from Chicago to LA, allegedly using funds provided by Durk himself. They met with Keon Grant, who had flown in on a private jet, and he played a crucial role in facilitating the operation, securing hotel rooms, ski masks, and luxury sedans for the ambush. Grant also allegedly provided firearms, including a machine gun. The group tracked Quando and his crew around LA in a Cadillac Escalade, waiting for the perfect moment. That moment came when Quando stopped at a Beverly Center gas station. As Quando and LePap stopped for gas, Durk's associates reportedly exited their vehicle, armed and ready, and opened fire in a hail of bullets, attempting to kill Rondo. Tragically, LePap, standing outside the Escalade, was killed. Quando miraculously escaped unharmed. After the failed hit, the suspects regrouped at an in-out, allegedly discussing payment with Keon Grant, and then flew back to Chicago from San Diego. It took years, but the cops pieced it all together, and on October 24th, FBI agents moved in to arrest Lil Durk at the Miami airport just an hour before his scheduled flight to Italy. Turns out, Durk knew the feds were onto him and was trying to make a quick getaway. Reports show he was being watched by several federal agencies. U.S. Customs and Border Protection alerted the FBI when Durk booked those one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland on October 24th. These bookings raised immediate red flags, suggesting a flight risk. While Durk didn't board those flights, the situation took a dramatic turn when the FBI discovered he'd also arranged a private jet to Italy. The timing, coupled with the serious charges against his associates, painted a clear picture. A man on the run, seeking refuge from the storm of legal troubles closing in. But even as Lil Durk sits in jail, new footage surrounding the case keeps surfacing online. The most damning footage is actually in police custody, featured in the indictment footage of Durk's goons following Quando Rondo around LA. And even more damning? Footage of OTF members allegedly committing the murder itself. But it's not just police footage that's causing problems for Durk. Lil Durk might have snitched on himself on camera back in 2023. In that DJ Academics interview, Durk revealed some pretty dark stuff. Since King Von's death, internet trolls kept telling Durk to get revenge, slide for Von. At the time, Durk publicly said he wouldn't slide for Von because of the consequences, rapping in his track, Hearing Sirens, "My brother shot dead to violence, I truly think the feds around us. Y'all tell me slide, then turn around, then have the nerve to clown us. You ain't worried about lawyers, you'd rather talk about Tory and Meg the Stallion like censored them blogs, not censored your dog, you censored turned to cowards." But those slide for Von comments clearly got to him. In the Academics interview, when asked about them, Durk initially played it cool. You're not triggered by the slide for Von comments? Still, I don't know if people still say it, they used to say it, but you also mention a song, they be saying slide for Von, I think they trolling me. But then he said something that left Academics visibly shook. Some reason, I just don't see them comments no more. Some odd reason, I don't know, might be the order. You see them comments a lot, they kind of chilled out a little bit, I wonder why. According to Durk himself, there was a reason those comments suddenly disappeared. Did he finally retaliate? Did he slide for Von? And is this interview, years later, coming back to haunt him? The whole story continues to captivate hip-hop fans, and with Durk now facing murder for hire charges, things are only going to get more interesting. Was King Von's death a tragic accident, a consequence of street beef and escalating violence? Or was it a carefully orchestrated setup fueled by betrayal, revenge, and a desperate thirst for street credibility? The truth as it unfolds might be even darker and more complex than we ever imagined.